Hey everyone, it's Motsi. Happy 2026! This is just a quick reminder that while we have talked about the Add tier for bonus episodes and other featured content on our Patreon, we've also got some other really cool tiers, such as the Nanay tier, the $15 tier where you can get a personalized 60-second message from your favorite Hainai character after the first month, as well as the Diwata tier, where you can get that message, as well as a personalized art piece from Motsi herself, also after the first month. Many of you may know that I'm not just an audio drama creator, I am also a visual artist, and if you want your very own Hainai art, you can definitely check out that tier as well. With things normalizing after the holidays, as well as a bunch of projects finally coming to fruition, I would like to focus more on Hainai in 2026, especially with the end of Act 3 coming soon. Thank you so much to everyone who stuck with us, as well as the newcomers who have begun their listening journey. We've got so much more to share this year, not just in Hainai, but in audio drama and horror in general. Manigong bagong taon, and as always, maraming salamat.
We'd like to give a special shout out to the following people for making this episode and the rest of Act 3 possible: Louis, Malaya, Reg, Daniel Athern, Osterkim, Vanna, Finch, Dr. Dan Venning, Sleepless Berry, Court, Rogue Canoe, John and Muna, Sadie, Zay the Great, Elliot Kane, and Trident. Thank you for your support. Maraming salamat.
You're listening to Hainai by Motsi Dapol, Episode 75, Sansinukob.
It took me a long time to understand where our magic came from. And it was only through the proliferation of nightmares that I came to understand the truth. That and death. Death was the only way I could understand it fully. Death was the only obstacle to the knowledge we sought our entire lives. But we were too proud to realize that it was not the death we surrounded ourselves with that would lead us to the truth. No, it was our own. The death of our pride, our ego, and of course the very literal death we avoided for so long. It's ironic, I suppose. Our obsession with living forever made us blind to what real power looks like. My pride was ignorance, and I shed that pride long ago. I opened my eyes fully to the corruption we delighted in as elders. The cruelty, the abomination against the natural order that we plied as a trade. The great cosmic joke that this clarity gave me in turn was that I was helpless to stop it. I knew that I was part of a system that chewed people up and spat out the gristle. But there was nobody left with the knowledge to remove me from it, if any of them had ever had the knowledge. Despite their intelligence, did our grand leaders ever truly know how to give up power once they got hold of it? I asked once. I asked our new leader if he had any clue how to remove me from the contract I had signed long ago. He said there was no way without killing me right then and there, and that was something he did not want to do, even if I was willing to die at the time. He seemed horrified by that. Even as old as we all were by then, he looked so very young. It occurred to me only then that my allyship might mean something to him, if only because I was perhaps one of the few people in his life, perhaps even the only one in his life, who had no ulterior motives when dealing with him. I didn't use him, or at least I never sought to. I suppose that was far from the norm. So as not to disturb him further, I sought ways to detach myself from the Ordo's pool of magic. For much of my research, I found our leader's conclusion to be correct. The only way to remove ourselves from the magic was to die, and no elder but I was willing to do so. I had to find a way, not just for me, but to atone for my greatest sin, bestowing this curse upon another, an innocent, a victim of the very same magic, the very same men who commanded it. I regret not refusing him when he asked me. I regret my weakness, knowing that I could not deny him such a wish when I promised him anything in the world to make up for the sins the Ordo had committed against him. Worse still was his adeptness with the cursed magic. Worse still was his mastery of the craft that many of us took decades to master. Though I suppose our leader had the right of it, asking him to be wary of our fellows, to warn of those who went too far and to kill them, should they prove turncoat. A killer of us killers, using our own magic against us. The universe has always had quite the sense of humor. I wanted to save him. More than anyone else, I wanted to find an escape for him. So I studied our magic in ways that nobody else in the Ordo did. I studied ways to die without dying. To find a way to detach myself from the tether of the Ordo's death magic. I carved the spells into my arms and felt life seep from my bones. But I never quite reached the conclusions I wished for. Still, it was useful, valuable research. My poor apprentice judged me for it, of course. Perhaps he feared me, for no elder was so self-destructive as I. Perhaps he feared for me, though he has always kept things close to the chest. He did not know why I damaged myself. He did not know why I sought death, though he didn't seem keen on helping me achieve it, though it was his specialty. I know he was curious, but he never asked, not in words. His eyes said it all, however, and begged for the answers that I would not give him. I had some back then, but I would not have them all. Not until I died. That would come later. Only in death did all become clear. Only in the passing did the universe make sense. The soul was always speculated to be part of its fabric, but In my limited vocabulary, I might describe it as the fabric of creation, of explosive, volatile life, as though woven from the surface of the sun or sewn from the conflagration of the known universe. Little patches of creation, sewn into human bodies, created or cobbled together by gods. That was the soul. The soul that gives life and vitality to humans is itself marked by the humanity that it powers. Humanity colors the soul, and emotion sets it aflame. Love, hatred, despair, and fear. A fearful death releases a screaming soul. The conflagration is stronger as it leaves the body and passes on to the other side. The power it releases, the kinetic energy, creates death magic, which we of the Ordo took full advantage of. The other side, I didn't understand it then. The other side is a place not for the living. The land of the dead. The place where the soul comes from and returns. A place behind a veil or a membrane. In between the membrane is nightmare and dream. The place you go when you sleep. Whenever the foci pull fear and death from humanity, the nightmares they saw were from the in-between spaces where they dwell. The monsters, the shadows, the inhuman shapes, and sometimes simply the familiar world, but wrong, following no logic but dreams. Endless halls, vast, impossible spaces, twists and turns that tire the mind and eventually the body, grinding you down until you're wrung out, terrified and ready to die. The membrane where nightmares live, it's semi-permeable. Those of the living can see within them, whether asleep or in weaker spaces, awake. The foci make places weaker for the nightmares to pass through. That's why the foci require the power of souls to activate. Souls pass through without issue, unless something powerful prevents them from doing so. Something powerful, like what we call gods. There are many names for them, in many places. Gods, spirits, old ones, big ones. They were once numerous when these places overlapped, and they shook the world without thought. They still exist now, but the power has shifted away, and we only see them move in great storms, swarms, waves, and the roiling fire beneath the earth. In them is magic, the power that is generated by the fabric of creation and destruction. The whole of it cannot be contained in human invention, though some have tried. Pieces of them, however, they can be contained in human bodies. And so we have people who are born with a little magic in them. Not every being knows it. Sometimes it's just that they're a little lucky, a little bit stronger than others, capable of strange things, though they might not ever put it to the test. That was what she was, that little big one, but with just a little extra from her father's gods. Who knows why gods do what they do? It's not for a mortal man to understand, even a dead one. There's more to tell, of course, but I have all the time in the world. Dead men always do.
You're listening to Hainai by Motsi Dapul.
Hey everyone, it's Motsi, creator and showrunner of the Hainai podcast. Hainai is a podcast produced by Motsi Dapul, Yoy Halago, and Alyssa Jimenez, and licensed under Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial Share-alike 4.0 International License.
This episode was co-produced by Jesse Goodsell and written and directed by Motsi Dapul, featuring Aud Andrews as the Dead Man.
If you'd like to chat with other listeners when this episode goes live, we do a live premiere every Sunday at 9 p.m. ET or Toronto time on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/HainaiPod. To help support the production of Hainai, you can subscribe to our Patreon, patreon.com/HainaiPod. You'll get to be part of our early access program, where we release episodes 3 days early on Thursday at 9 p.m. ET or Toronto time. You can also get bonus video, audio, art, and much more. Speaking of Patreon, we'd love to give a special shout out to the following patrons for all their amazing support. Maha, Mr. Drifter, Nikki Green, Cy B.A., Emily C., Lauren Morton, Prinks Variety, Didi Chenak, Chandra, Atch W., Tony Baloney, Nay, Boyo, Phoenix Luna, Kate Jordan, Tiana Harvey, Sabine, Ben, DC Squirrel, Jess Snow, Nonette Dapul, Tanisha Wesley, Mika, Anna, Sooks, Becca Terrier, Amelia Brownstein, Diana Cause, Melissa, Emma H., Faye Fungi, Pablo Neurotic, Ostra Kim, Megan, Jesse Goodsell, Malaya Light, and Victoria Goodwin. Thank you for all your support. If you subscribe at the ATET tier or the $10 tier and above, you get bonus episodes, bonus content, the full B-sides, and you get your name shouted out on every episode in the credits, just like our wonderful supporters here. If you can't subscribe monthly, you have the option to buy us a milk tea on Ko-fi. That's ko-fi.com/HainaiPod. Our ad-free Hainai album, which has our official music and full episodes from Act 1 and 2, is also available for both patrons and to purchase on our coffee shop. Check out our website, HainaiPod.com, for more info, and follow us on all our socials, on Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, Facebook, and Blue Sky, and even our YouTube posts, at HainaiPod, for updates and more information, especially when we have special events. And as always, thank you, we love you, and hanggang sa muli.